Okay, so I'm going to be doing a VOD review for wolfwizard. They play Hog on Gibraltar in Gold 2. You say you have a few issues, I guess, with your computer around round 3. Um, I guess I'll skip over that. I think I saw a few issues, some points around 2. Obviously, I'm just going to ignore all the computer issues for the most part. You say you're mostly looking for positioning tips and game sense tips. You think your mechanics are pretty decent. I agree for gold. To preface this, I watched all of attack and most of the first defense, all of the first attack and all of the first defense, and I think I agree. I think primarily right now, um, your positioning is probably what's holding you back the most, right? Hog has obviously no movement and he's pretty big and easy to hit. So when you play too aggressively and like off of high ground, it takes you forever to get it back, right? And you're really vulnerable just getting rushed down. Um, that's like kind of the problem for you in particular, right? And then also there's a problem for your team, right? When you're like this far away from them, um, people can just ignore you, especially in these maps with a lot of high ground. If these players were better, they'd literally see your low ground, not even fight you, and just like 5-man rush top and just take the 4v5 against your team. But then the 4v5, even worse, is like really bad because your team doesn't have a tank and theirs does, right? So you want to be like split from your team a little, but not so much that your team is going to have a hard time healing you, for example. And not so much that you can't even shoot the people if they commit on your team, right? Like your hook, if you hook, probably goes like right around here ish, right? Um, yeah, and you can see like if they just come up here, for example, there's literally nothing you can do. And this kind of a recurring theme for your positioning on hog, right? In general, you want to be taking high ground, especially on defense, right? I mean, it's not that straightforward. If they don't have heroes that really play off of high ground, it's okay to admit it sometimes, but you're still pretty annoying on high ground yourself. Um, and right, because like for the reasons I just explained. And okay, so and I think the second thing that's kind of problematic for you right now, and of course I'll give you more examples in this VOD review of where I'd be setting up instead of where you're setting up and where I'd be playing. But this we'll get to that as the VOD goes on. Um, secondly, I think your hook mechanics in particular, not necessarily your aim, could use some work, right? Hog is not like a super good hero. If you're missing out on like one shots a lot of times, yeah, you'll miss out on a ton of kills if you're not like hitting turns around corners and optimizing how you do stuff like that. Yeah, you can miss out on a lot of value. He's kind of deceptive because his skill floor or whatever is kind of low or whatever. So like maybe in like bronze or silver, it's really easy to get value out of him. But as you climb, he's actually like a really mechanically intensive hero, and part of that's because the hook requires a decent amount of aim and timing because it is fairly easy to dodge. As you rank up, it's easy to predict. And two, like if you're not maximizing exactly where you're aiming and where you're positioning people, and like how you're pulling them around corners, the character just kind of sucks, right? Because you can't just. It's not like how he was when he first was released in this game or whatever. You could just like hook and then one shot literally anyone that wasn't a tank without like doing anything, right? You have to kind of pull off a lot of mechanical mumbo jumbo, I guess, to get value. Right, and I have actually a gameplay or a guide of mechanics for Hog on this channel. If you're willing to check it out, I'd appreciate it. And I'm sure if you play Hog a lot, you'll also appreciate it if you rank up. Um, if you want to keep ranking up, I should say. Um, right. So, but the gist of it, is you want to hook and then wait if they're on like high ground, for example. Wait until your crosshair or place your crosshair right about the chin level for the vast majority of heroes and shoot at like the perfect time and then melee, and that maximizes your damage, right? Um, the exact position varies in each hero, so you're gonna have to figure that out yourself. So it's just too much too in depth to go over, in my opinion. It's not really worth explaining exactly where. It's better just to figure that out by experience. And I guess the second part of this is that you're not using your hook enough, right? You have it a lot of times on cooldown, and in the time you just are just kind of not using it. You could like be throwing 2 or 3 more hooks than you do, right? Every time you throw a hook, right, you have a potential to win a fight, right? This obviously doesn't mean you just want to randomly throw them around the corner, but you should be looking pretty much all the time for opportunities to use your hook, right? Pretty much immediately when it comes off cooldown. Right, so getting your hook uptime, don't even really worry about accuracy too much. Obviously you should, you don't want like a 10% accuracy. But just throwing, even like, you could probably throw at least double the amount of hooks you are in this game, and just that makes the games go so much more quickly, right? Because you're just, fundamentally going to be hitting about 2 times as many if your accuracy rate stays the same. Thirdly, I think your target priority needs some work too. You actually mentioned that you're focusing the tank too much, and I agree. Sometimes when the tank goes in, you just have to hope your team can deal with it, right? Especially if you get early damage on them and they like have a bad engage. You just have to make the read and like hope your team isn't going to lose the 4v1 when you already like did some intro damage to the tank when they commit, right? So yeah, I mean, if your team is consistently losing 4v1s, there's not much you can do, unfortunately. Your best bet is to try your best to hold the back of the front line, look for a hook, right, on someone as they try to make like a rotation in the fight, and then give up space and then like try to shoot people as they come in, right? It's kind of like that, right? I'll demonstrate it better. So here, getting into like the play-by-play, I don't like setting up here. I kind of like, I don't hate it. It's better than like standing in the spawn, for example, and I kind of like it more than standing here, because you can't get out either way, but this is more unexpected. On this map, though, I pretty much always set up here, in this room, right, kind of where your venture is, or like up here, because you have a lot of rotations, right? One, you're safe and you're on high ground, so like you're not easy to kill. Like if you get slept and naded, you just literally just get slept naded here, and you can't get shot, right? Like they have to commit a ton of stuff to shoot you, and they like do this entire giant rotation. No problem. You can just break LOS by doing what your venture's doing right now, right? And it gives you opportunities to like keep switching up your angle, right? And you have an escape ability, right? Or escape potential here, I should say, because I don't want to confuse you with cooldowns. Not to say you would be, but any other watchers. Right? Because if you get hard pressured, you just drop, no problem. But here, I'm sure you can see the problem here is that your rotation back to your team is too long. And like I said earlier, if they just ignore you, like you see this Doomfist goes in, there's literally nothing you can do about that, right? Because you're just too far away from them. Here, I'd probably be looking for a hook on someone on cart, right? Might as well. And if not, then I'd just be doing this anyways, right? Kind of an uptime thing. You have to walk back to this guy anyways, so you might as well try to go for a hook. Here, I know I just told you, you should be using your hook as often as possible. The exception is when people are close range and you're not trying to interrupt a movement ability, right? Or like a block or something like that. You have to like kind of rely on your aim a lot of times and just do your best to shoot them and only hook when they're killable, right? So what this looks like, it's a very slight difference. But here, you would have shot before you hooked, is basically what I'm trying to say, right? And then hooked pretty much at the same time you're hooking now. Because like you're already doing more or less max damage to a tank at this range, right? The hook isn't in principle gonna make your lineup shot easier, especially against a stationary Doomfist, right? And I'm sure you can see, look how low this guy gets after you hook him, right? If you just shot him before you hooked, he'd be dead, right? So that's one thing you need to get more comfortable with. I think it's okay to try to chase him. Kill. It's nice. I think it's good you rotate up high here. Yeah, this is fine here. I think it's okay to drop because her whatever just died. You have to be very careful. Because Anna should have both her cooldowns, I believe, right? Anna is like, she's not paying attention. If she sleeps you actually die here, believe it or not. Because if you get slept, the Doom comes in. Well, maybe not in gold. The Doom will come in, punch you in to cancel your breather. The Sombra will hack you to cancel your breather, and then you'll get naded, which obviously cancels your breather too. Just the healing part of it, of course. But like, I don't like this play because the Doom gets back so quickly and the Sombra's still around, right? If they have a lot of ways of canceling your breather, you have to play safe. And playing safe just means playing in positions that force the enemies to come onto you, and so you can pick them off one by one, right? You just kind of feed off their mistakes. Regardless, no, good hook. She wasn't paying attention. Fine. Just for future reference, I believe she teleported up here. Yeah, I guess so. I guess she maybe teleported on the bridge. You just have to be a little better at reading the teleport loop, the angle. Here again, I'm sure you can see here, like, I'd be going for hooks. You know, I don't love your positioning. This is a problem with it, right? When you're not going for hooks, they're just going to commit anyways, right? Because there are pathings around you, or they can just ignore you. So you might as well try to catch them in the rotation. So I don't like the advice of like trying to hold on to hook forever, especially in like a ladder environment, right? If you're crazy enough to play hog in like scrims, you know, maybe that's a different story. So, but even then, you still want to be trying to catch people's rotations to punish them, right? So, can't do anything anyway, so skip forward just a little bit, not too far forward. Here, I think it's okay to default high. You know, this is kind of why I was making a point of talking about the hook mechanics earlier. You see how you keep like kind of like slowly inching back a lot of times when you hook. Most of the time, there's really no reason to do that. There are like specific scenarios, like if it's in a hog mirror and you hook someone and you don't want to get like canceled or like hooked out of your hook, or like a Narisa where you can get stunned out of your hook, you can back up and then like fling them around cover more easily, so your follow-up damage is still decent. Like doing that there doesn't really do anything. So here, right, you hook the Doom, do a lot of damage. That's kind of like your, I guess, thing to go forward, right? You don't literally need to drop right now. You can open up the angle for your team, right? Hog is very good at like forcing angles, right? A lot of people have the misconception he's a brawl tank. He's really a poke tank because he's very good at opening angles. That's kind of all he does. Because if you just sit in this choke, you're gonna do the hard spam because you have like literally nothing to stop crowd control, and you're just too big, and right, like you can just stuff in chokes way too easily. So, since the Doom kind of fed, like he didn't die obviously, but now he's forced to get healed up by his team, and you have like all your resources, you might as well go in here, right? And I'd either be walking this way, so your team can walk in, right? Because if they commit on your team, now you can shoot them, right? And they can only shoot you or your team at the same time. Or you could be coming down a cart to hold the corner, right? Same premise, right? Now the enemy team has two angles to worry about instead of just one, right? Your team's also kind of trolling by all stacking the same doorway, but that's all right. Here, this is too far back, right? Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate your team is stuck all in the same angle and just kind of feed. Here, right, your entire team is dead, and you should have the read that their comp's very good at chasing you. Maybe, I think you actually make it out. Against Juno Speed Ring, you know, double mobility Pharah, double mobility Doom, and like teleport hack Sombra, like there's no chance you actually live against this comp, unfortunately. So I'd be running the cart to die as soon as possible. But it is gold, so I think you do make it out. Here, right, they kind of give you an opportunity to escape, right? Really what you should be doing, keep backing out. Again, it's still, I mean, your Kiri just teleported in, but look at where the rest of your team is, right? They're respawning. And what if this team is better, they'll use the fact that you staggered yourself to literally ignore you right now and go kill your Kiri, right? And then, because you'll just die immediately afterwards anyways, right? So I think maybe your Kiri dies here. It's fine, just keep running, right? Just kind of walking further into the team. So your Kiri, and because you make the mistake of like delaying your death right there, or just not running away when they give you the opportunity to run away, your Kiri ends up dying, right? That can be the problem on tank. You can make mistakes and not get directly punished a lot of times. Okay, you catch on to just get away, so that's good. It's fine, you get slept. Here, again, like you're down your entire team, right? You just lost your Ashe, and you know your Kiri's respawning. Don't even fight cart, or don't even fight lower. I'd be looking to rotate high ground. Again, similarly to first, you just want to start high ground, so you stop this from happening, right? You can catch her off guard, or you can deny these people angles, right? Or something like that. I didn't know the Sombra was all the way behind too, because if Sombra's still here, that's something to worry about. That's another way of stopping your breather and getting you killed, right? If you're peeking right now, because this is effectively, if they're smarter, it would be like a 4v1.5, right? I'm guess Mercy's helping you, but if you get naded or like hacked out of your breathing, you die. So. It's fine. You know, since you're here, you might as well keep fighting the Doom. Like, he's kind of wasting his time. It's not a good trade for him. Just keep punching the hog and neutral over and over again. It's a pretty good ult. Here again, right? I know I told you, just use hook as often as possible. Against tanks that are close, that's like the exception, right? Because they all have like some sort of cooldown that can block or like deny your damage value. So just keep shooting him. Especially when he got nano, just keep shooting him. So you stuff him in the corner and make it really hard for him to like aim or like jump away, right? Because if he tries to jump away, you just keep shooting him, like messing up his trajectory. It's fine. Should have been a little bit more patient there. I like that you're going for an Elise here. I have a feeling, or I should say, I feel like sometimes you're good about using it off cooldown, and other times I think maybe you get a little too, I guess, confused of who to target. And the correct answer is the most killable person in your like field of view, right? Ideally, you should be looking like at positionings before you go for them, so you have an idea where people are, and then like trying to hook people based off those positionings, right? Sometimes the only person you can hook is the tank, and you have to like do that to bait out cooldowns. Here, right? If you're gonna go for this hook, don't play so close to the corner, right? Especially if you have a Kiri, swing wide when you have hook, so she can't escape as easily, right? Because if they start peeking you, then just like doing this is you're still taking cover, right? You can still keep doing this and keep LOSing them. I get it's a little safer here, but you're full HP and you have a Kiriko. And your team is all here, right? So if they just chase you around the corner, even when you're naded, especially because they're down one, right? They're just gonna like feed for it, right? Now you just kind of mess up your angle, right? It's a general rule. When you have hook, you want to take corners a little wider. It's pretty good. Nice. Could have been a little bit more patient. I think this fight, I do like that you've been using your hook pretty regularly. It's not the case in most fights, though. Well, I won't say most, but in a lot of them. Here, no reason to rush, right? It's just a solo Ana. I feel like you also these are like in principle the easy hooks because it's literally a 1v5 right now. Her team's almost back, but that's okay. It's whatever. Like this is like the stagger kill you really want, and if she's just like randomly jumping, like look how easy her movement is to follow, right? She's literally just jumping to the right over and over again, making her like path really trajectory going. Right? That's okay. You chase it down. Give your team the intro pick. Probably we're trying to hit the Sombra there. It's unfortunate. Again, this is the problem with like going high ground. Sorry, going low ground. People can come top and you'll have no clue, right? You actually have like a problem of like ignoring this Pharah, not looking up a lot. This game, I don't know if that's a recurring thing, but going high ground also partially solve that, right? Because you can literally see everywhere she can come from. Like she only has 4 entrance doors. I guess like 5 or 6 because you can go through there now. But they're pretty much all in the same spot, right? Like you can literally just stay here and see everywhere they can walk through, right? So just like going high ground from the beginning puts you in positions where they can't like flank you because you can see everywhere they can walk in, right? So unfortunate, the Pharah gets 2 of your teammates and everyone dies. I think it's okay to chase the Ana team, just had to kind of not die there. You're right. Your team, don't take just back spawn here. Actually, let me see. What was your team doing? Okay, they're kind of making the mistake here of being this far forward. Here, though, I'd be backing. You're kind of not in a great spot. I'd be playing probably around here. In higher ranks, people will back spawn in this position because this, as you can see, this is really open. You have no escape, and it really sucks. But since your team is all here, you kind of have no choice but to play with them. So I'd probably be taking cover here and trying to play around here and trying to like stall or something, so we can try to get like a back down. I'm sure you can see like they just have too many angles on you. It's because it's really easy. So like here, this is what I'm talking about. You have hook, just try to go for it and try to like force out resources, right? I will mention, and this is kind of what I mean, just to kind of drive the point home, right? So you have hook here. It's been at least like 6 or 7 seconds since you're just like hiding behind cover with full health, more or less full HP, right? And they're like pretty far away, right? The Doom and the Sombra are the only ones close, so everyone else is gonna have like significant damage fall off, or like having a hard time hitting projectiles at that distance. You could have thrown a hook earlier, and you'd already have hook back now anyway. So like, this is a recurring like theme, I guess. Like, nice hook, right? Force out the ult, so. This is fine. You should be shooting him before you hook him, vast majority of the time. Fortunate, your entire team, this is kind of on your team. You're doing a fine job of like controlling the front line. They're just dying to two unsupported DPS. That's kind of on them. You're not like taking too many resources, so it happens sometimes. Here, right? Actually, you know what? I slightly take that back. Let me rewatch that actually. Doing a fine job here, right? You make the mistake of turning back here. They were kind of dead. Never mind. You're doing fine. Your team just can't die there. This is where you make the mistake. Once you're down 2, you just gotta back, right? Same mistakes you've been making a lot on defense. When you're down 2 players, there's like no chance you can turn the fight. Just walking back to card should be suicide right now. You should just need some die for this. Since you're here, I'd be popping ult and trying to turn the fight, right? Because you just saw their Ana was like on cart, and there's a good chance if you just play in this corner and just keep like juggling these people around, you kill the Doom or you kill the Sombra, right, and turn the fight, right? Because if they're better, they kill you here anyways. But if you're better, you wouldn't be in this position. Again, if the Doom's close, right, just keep shooting him until he blocks, so you force out his Doom. It's perfectly fine to hook the Doom in like neutral when he's far away, but when he's close, like, just go ahead and shoot him. Here again, right? If the Doom's nanoed, just ignore him. Actually, the best thing you can do a lot of times is either pressure his front line when he's nanoed, so he's forced to punch you and waste all of his resources on you, and you're gonna live, right? Especially because your Kiri Susu the nade, so like they're not gonna be able to kill you here. But if he's wasting all of his resources on you, then he can't dive your back line. This is an opportunity to whole hog him. He just used both his movement cooldowns, he doesn't have ult. So if you just pop whole hog, you just can knock him off the map and instant kill him. And you're giving up a lot of space frontline. This is where I think you really start making the mistake of chasing this Doom too much. You're making the mistake of chasing him too hard, and look at the amount of angles the enemy team is taking for free, right? Like, look how bad the Sombra's positioning is. She's literally just sitting out in the open, right? If you were just playing right here, for example, and you saw this, she'd just die. And there's a chance, like, even if you hard focus this Doom right now, he just gets out anyways, right? I think you probably kill him because he's messing up his mechanics too. So, good kill regardless. Your Ashe does kill the dude, so punishes him for his terrible position. Here, right, walk forward, he's got 2. You should be looking at this Pharah, right? Maybe she's in hook distance right now, she's not. But like, it feels like you're not paying attention to this Pharah at all, right? You're just kind of eating a ton of spam for her. Good hook. Could have been a bit better, aim-wise, but it's alright. That'll come with time. Here, I will mention you have a slight problem with your pig pens. You should be throwing them closer to the corner. You have a tendency to kind of throw them like too far off the corner, right? Okay, that's random. You should have reacted to that sooner, but that's really random. I don't even know if I would have done that myself. You had another opportunity to use Hoggold here, by the way, to knock the Doom and Sombra off the map. And you're giving up the front line again, right? That's kind of like the fundamental thing. If you're holding front line, you get Hoggold now, for example, or like, you know, in a few seconds when they pop Juno ult, so they get no value out of the Juno ult, and just let your team try to win the, you know, the fight in your backline, the 2v whatever, because you're going to be pushing them out of their team. They're going to push the supports out of the LOS of their tanks. Their Doom and Samurai. I don't know why I had such a hard time saying that. You see like how much Doom spaces Doom is creating, right? These people again are just like running in for free because you're looking at this Doom too much, right? If he's just gonna sit behind cover here, you can't kill him, right? But his team also can't heal him. So if your team is playing in better positioning, like they're gonna be able to kill him too, right? You just have to trust that they do a lot of times with tank, right? And if they don't, then you just have to do your best to try to like ruin his engage or like stop his team from following him.
Ready for battle.
Okay, skip forward a bit here. Go a little further back. Actually, before we go further, I actually should mention I have a video on this channel where I'm playing on this map. It's not like the full map. I skip around a lot, and they don't even make it past first on defense. So it's not perfect, but it should give you an idea of like what I generally do. I wasn't really like paying much attention to the game because it was a diamond, I think four lobby. Excuse me. You know, and I just kind of did whatever I wanted. I wasn't really paying too much attention, but it's still a general guideline of like where I'm positioning on the map, what I'm generally doing regardless. Maybe a bit autopilot, but still decent. Here, right? Should have shot and hooked her immediately. She was scoped in. Might as well. So now she's, because you kind of waited, she's just gonna get tanked by her Juno and be like 2x kill. He's fine to drop here, right? Definitely walk back high. Yep, I think you do. Unfortunate. Again, Doom's close, right? Just keep shooting him. Or just try to go for his backline. Against Doomfist, you have kind of no choice but to shoot him, because he just has his punch so fast. I mean, if you see him immediately punching, you go for it. But like the problem is, if he punches you out of your hook, you get no value, and he does. Right? That's alright, I think you're trying to hit the cast there, but you body blocked. Here you should have kept backing. This guy might actually die here. Nice.
I'm with you.
It's fine. I would keep walking top right. You know, they have a lot of hit scan. If they just sit lower ground, it's kind of problematic. But if you go top, you can catch them in the open, right? Go for hooks, and then hook him in your team. And if not, you can always go back to top, right? So, like, this is a prime example of you just kind of sitting on hook, right? You never want to take fair fights as hog because you lose a lot of them, right? So if you have hook and their tank's dead, you should be looking to pressure forward and try to play like corners and try to catch people that are overextended pretty much all the time, right? Again, that pin's not really going to do anything. Unfortunately, I think the venture knocked the guy out of the range, so. Again, a lot of opportunities to go for hooks here. Go for one on the tube. I would have rather you try to hook the soldier. The guy was away, right? The guy's nanoed, like, there's nothing you can really do to kill him, right? You don't have like a confidence to kill him very easily. You might as well try to do stuff like that, right? I will say the only exception is if he dives your team. You can try to hook him to like ruin his aim, but you already saw he committed his slam high ground, so he's not going to be able to easily kill people at that position. It's fine. Turn around for the Doom here. The only reason I say do it there is because literally everyone else is dead except the Juno that's running away, so might as well kill him so you can cop as quickly as possible. Okay, that's good. They could have saved him, but it's still good to get the kill. I'm not going to talk about it too much there. I don't want to bring up mechanics too much more. Just because I think I've said pretty much all I want to say. I will say here, once you got the soldier pick, right, keep pressuring your advantage, right? You don't necessarily need to go straight forward. You can rotate to high ground right here and catch people, for example, coming out of this doorway. Or you can even jump up on these boxes here and jump on this wing right here. And now look at this angle, right? No one, I swear, no one expects this. Even in high rank, you can hook people through this doorway and one-shot them. You can hook people down there and crouch and one-shot them, especially their backline, right? And worst comes to worst, you just like back here and play cart with your team, right? If you're missing a lot or whatever. Could have gotten a lot more value out of that soldier pick. So. I do like that you're actually turning your head to stop headshot damage, right? Nice. I'm pretty sure you're trying to hit that guy. Hazard's kind of annoying. He's kind of like Doomfist, where he's just gonna like knock you around every single time you go for a hook. So you're kind of forced to hook him a lot of times. Otherwise, that kind of stuff will happen. Do like no damage. You have to give up. So when I say that, you have to give up a lot of space and bait him to overextend, and then hook him into your team and do your best to shoot him in the back, right, when he can't get healed. Here, right? You should pull him right in front of the window and then shoot him, because he'll just like, literally insta die. If you just stand so he lands right in front of the window, you just like literally cause him to explode. That's fine. I like that you're using it at the very least. I would try to go for the Kiriko because she was already weak, but that's fine. No. Again, you know, if your angle sucks, you have 750 HP, right? You can afford to move in a different location and to try to make it slightly easier for yourself, right? And you still have your entire team with you, right? So you're not gonna like die. And even if you like walk at him and force him to fade or whatever, your team is like gonna be able to shoot him. If he doesn't fade, kill him, even if you miss hook or whatever. But like you're just kind of forcing yourself in these awkward angles. Here, once you push him all the way away, start looking at the Reaper. To push him away from your team, right? So they can't kill the people that are stuck, right? Once he's that far away, he's gonna have a hard time killing anyone, especially the further most forward person. Yep, it's fine. This is fine. You have time to wait for this Reaper because he's no rate. Unfortunately, you didn't have the HP to peek that, so that's perfect. Okay. Nice. Here, I think you're trying to look for the Juno, maybe. Okay, good. I think your target priority sometimes is like pretty good. But sometimes I think at like the beginning of fights, it can be a little wonky, right? When you're just turning for the Doom too much. That's a general rule, right? If you can't like ruin their engage, you want to try to trade someone else out. Because you can just shoot the tank afterwards anyway, so. Yep, it's fine. Pretty good fight, you know, unfortunately it was kind of chaotic, but... The opportunity to hook the Kiri there, by the way. It's fine. You see, even when you miss hooks, sometimes they'll make a mistake anyways and just commit for no reason and just be killable anyways, right? Because they don't have a lot of HP like a tank, so... Here, right? I guess maybe you're trying to aim. But you had an opportunity to swing wide, right? Wait for them to straighten out their movement or whatever. Go for one right here. Like, you shouldn't be afraid, right? You don't have to throw in this position. You don't have to throw the trap at the corner. You can literally just walk, throw a trap in the open, and do your best to hook someone, right? No reason to be so afraid here. They have no damage. You just kill the Reaper, and their tank just charge back in. If you killed someone before the rank came back, like, you could just walk out and kill them afterwards. Fine here. Yep. You can definitely tank the bashing, which is why I say it's fine, especially in front of the window. So you get double healing too. Here, right, you're sitting on hook a little bit too much. It's fine. You know, you're not gonna hit everything, so. That's surprising. I don't know why that missed. It looked close to me. Here you're kind of trolling because you're not paying attention to this bastion, right? Once you miss, that's fine, but don't just walk out in the open and just expose yourself to the bastion this much, right? Let me replay that for you and show you what you could have done instead. for some cooldowns from the Kiri, right? This is fine here, but you see the Bastion is peeking. What if one? Oh, yeah, you just have to turn around here. I didn't even know these people were here. There's just so much going on, and it's hard to like know exactly what's going on because I have to keep pausing it over and over again to like, But that's beside the point. You can turn around, whole hog these people, right? Or you could whole hog the Bastion and Juno off the map. Um, but it's kind of walking forward. You're not stopping the DPS from the people behind you, and you're not stopping the DPS from the Bastion. So you have to pick the angle that's the least threatening, right? So that's probably around here, right? So you LS the Bastion, you can just shoot the whatever to force the Rhine to shield, and then shield just explodes, right? Kind of overextending that fight, but that's all right. Here, right? Team is dead. You're down your dude. I wouldn't be peeking right now. I'd be waiting for them to peek you to see if they overextend, right? So when you keep like going for plays like this, okay, this is good here. You overextend, you punish him. Fortunately, no one else in your team's there to shoot him, so it's fine. I'm surprised it didn't hit either of them. When Bastion spun up, especially when they have a Rhine, just let them go. If the Rhine's smart, you're just gonna shield the Bastion. You won't be able to hook him with like the major % or something. The problem with Bastion, he does so much DPS so easily that it's not worth being. If he's just like really well supported up to this point. So here, just wait for your team. Like you notice, you can't go for a hook. It's because you're down 2, right? You just have no DPS right now. Just chill, right? Just wait for your team to get back. Yeah, so they have literally no one else to shoot with you, which is why it feels impossible. I would say here, what you should be doing is 1, waiting for your team to get back. 2, you want to be taking like a wider angle. For example, you could come over here because your team can still heal you from down there, and trying to force this angle, right? Something like this. Or just playing close to the corner and seeing what your team does. Like your team ideally should be the ones taking this angle, right? And you should be the one playing close. The only reason I say go over there is so your team doesn't get shattered with you. But that's kind of not something you really have to worry about. The main mistake you're making is just continuously trying to push a 3v5, right? Both DPS dead. Wow. You don't really see a tank die that often. Okay, I think it's fine. Try and just walk into her. Yeah, it's okay. What was that Ryan doing? Okay, I like how you push the choke regardless of push their spawn because they can't get out. So I'm gonna look at 3rd round. I actually didn't look at it, but if it's really bad, I'll just not really say anything. I have bad internet, so it happens sometimes. Yeah, I guess your computer's literally dying or something. So, unfortunate. Yeah, it's gonna be hard to win games like that. When your computer or internet's dying, whatever. So, oh, I guess you're typing your team or something. Here, this is a much better like idea where to hold. Preferably, there's a jump you can do up to get up here. You have to jump off like this thing right here, jump up here, jump on this thing up here, and then like there's a kind of tricky jump to get over here. It's slightly better, but I don't think where you're standing is like a throw by any stretch of imagination. I guess yeah, your like offense was so bad probably because you were like crashing out or something. I don't mean raging. I mean just like unable to play the game because your computer was dying. So yeah, this is not like a good position to be in. I think it's in this position. It's fine to play this corner because you don't really have a great choice, right? And at the very least here, you force them to play cart, right? The problem on like offense at the very beginning of the game with playing cart is they can just ignore you, kill your team, and then push through. But now they need to contest cart regardless, right? And you also have, I guess they have to push it around this corner so their team can kind of swing, right? And you have no choice because if you just let them keep pushing, they're just gonna full cap anyway. So Here, right? You have opportunities to go for hooks. This is kind of like a, I guess maybe like when the Doom's engaging, you're like kind of not sure if you should go for a hook. Yeah, just try to like kill his backline while he engages, right? In principle, that's a pretty easy hook, right? I think this is the same player as Anna earlier. She's just literally jumping to one side over and over again in the same direction, right? Should be a fairly easy hook. Okay, nice. Mess up the mechanics a bit there. That's alright though. Alright, stuff like that comes with time, and like, you know, proper training. You're not gonna hit it all immediately, right? Nice. Nice, very good kill. Target priority. That's fine, right? You don't want to teleport away. Here, right, this guy is all alone. You know the Doom and the Reaper up top. You saw him go up there. They're pinging the Reaper too. Literally just hold W into this guy, or the Juno, so they can't heal the Doom or whatever, right? The Juno in no world is ever going to kill you, and if you deny healing to the Reaper and Doom, they're just going to insta-die, right? Look how low the Doom was, like a second ago.
Enemy turret destroyed.
I guess he's getting packs or something. Oh, he just like got all the way out. So this is free because this Juno's overextended because she's effectively in like a 1v5 right now, right? And you'll never die to Juno, right? You have all your breathers, even though Here, overextending, right? She's starting to light you up. You probably should have gone for a hook a little sooner. And but it's not the end of the world, right? You're kind of overextending and you're not paying attention to your HP here. You gotta go for something a little sooner there, right? Here, go for hooks, right? Again, kind of, I guess I don't know exactly why you do in some situations and why you don't. I think maybe like in the, like these neutral fights when the tank's there, you don't want to like do anything. Just try to hook his backline. Or hook him. Doesn't really, I mean, obviously, ideally you hook the backline. Depends what tank it is. But when you're hooking people, right, it forces out a ton of cooldowns and like resources from that. Regardless of what you do, right? It's fine. I mean, you literally have no other option because like just your offense is bad. Probably not for your fault too. Nice. Good kill. Here, what I'd be doing, right? You don't want to give the baby diva her thing. Just walk up here, right? If you walk up here, one, you'll be fast enough to like, if they start contesting cart and you're on your way here, you'll be fast enough just to walk back to cart. Two, if they don't contest cart, it's the same thing as offense. Look at your angle right now, right? You just don't want to feed the baby diva her thing. You might as well try to get these kills because they're gonna have a hard time contesting without the tank. Reaper is okay to hook a point blank because you can't one shot him and he heals a ton off you, so. Okay, yep. I'm surprised you managed to hold that, that's pretty good. Oh god, don't tell me they come back. Oh no, that's a travesty. Oh no. There's some things you could have done differently that fight. I don't think it's worth taking too much time to talk about them. I will say, actually, let me go back just a bit further. Yeah, you pop this ult too early. When the Reaper's wraithing, right, there's literally nothing you can do, so you should be looking at someone else. That's one thing you can do differently, and you ult too early. I don't know, your team's kind of trolling by being low ground too. There's no reason for them to be on cart with you, so you know, it is gold, and they'll obviously the enemy team will make the same mistakes, and they were, you know, there's continuously peeking you all game. But it's beside the point. Okay, anyways, before I take too much longer, okay, so yeah, I think your positioning, probably what's holding you back the most. Like I said earlier, if you can take high ground for free, like you generally want to do it, especially on defense, because there's literally nothing that stops you in principle, right? You have all the setup time at the beginning, and when like you team wipe or something, you can just take high ground for free most of the time. Yeah, and you just want to be like creating an angle with your team, but not such an insane angle that you can't get healed and you can't influence like what happens to your team if you miss a hook, or you like even play out of hook range is even more of a threat, right? Um, Two, you got to be using your hooks more often, right? I'm sure you can see in this replay, you're just kind of sitting on them a lot for like no reason, in my opinion. And two, work on your like an addendum to that point, right? Work on the mechanics more, right? Um, just trying to get the crosshair lineup and like make sure you're actually stepping into the hooks more consistently, more often. Kind of get that down. It's kind of like the big takeaway. And three, your target priority needs work. I think sometimes it's good, but other times you're just turning for the doom way too much. And this is a general rule for tanks, right? If they have mobility, a lot of times there's nothing you can do, except try to poke them out and get hooks on them early fight. Because if you turn from them, or excuse me, you turn for them, you just let the rest of the team walk in for free, right? That's kind of their threat window is just expired at that point, and you just can't hold the front line super well as Hog, right? So I hope this helps.